Thank you, Mr. Sato, for this excellent presentation. To wrap up this session, we spoke about the importance of energy efficiency in the region. Of course, this is not strange in a region where the temperature reaches 53 degrees C. It's not really strange in a place where the design conditions can vary from 46 in some countries and 48 in some other countries. For those who are in the States, 48 is 180 degrees Fahrenheit. It's not really strange in a place where the energy consumption is about 70% in buildings, and 70% of those are in the HVAC systems. When looking for future alternative refrigerants, of course, energy efficiency have to be taken into considerations. We really have to look at the energy conservation, look at the energy consumption, how much CO2 is. So we really have to look at the direct and the indirect effects of this assessment. It's a very important assessment, and this should really be taken into consideration, of course, in any future refrigerant that we study. I'd like to call on our chair, Jim Walter, to come up stage, and our speakers, and then we could entertain some questions for the sessions. I'd like also to mention that the break between the two sessions has been canceled due to stress on time, so we could kind of continue both sessions together. But first, we'd like to entertain some questions to our speaker. If you come on stage, the speakers in this session, for a few questions. Jim?
Thank you, Bassam Al-Assad. I just want to reiterate a very important point that Mr. Saud Laskar has mentioned at the end of his presentation. I'd ask his permission if I may translate it in English, Mr. Saud. Mr. Saud mentioned about the association, Aramina. The association was announced last year. Aramina is the Association of Air Conditioning Manufacturers in the Middle East and North Africa. And he said that everybody was happy to learn that Aramina has been formed or announced. But for the past year, there has been not a lot of talk about the projects or the implementation of Aramina in the region. And I believe he said that he would like to see Aramina do a little bit more. Now, I don't talk for Aramina at this stage, but as a coordinator of the actions that have been taking place so far, I would say thank you so much for the comment. I think it's a very important comment. The support of organizations such as the GSO is very important for the members. They have been very enthusiastic about it. We do have a meeting after this meeting to talk about the next steps. There has been some action. There's been an ad hoc committee that has been formed to work on the SASO maps. But definitely, we thank you for your comment, and we'd like everybody else to support Aramina as it starts its actions. Thank you. And one more thing, I think we need a break.
We need a break? Okay. I'm glad it's a comment, not the question. Dr. Ala.
I've got a question for Mr. Faisal Al-Rashid, if I may. It has to do with the targeted power savings from DSM programs that are supposedly going to be between 19 and 38% by 2030. And I wonder if on your plans to reduce the savings on power, have you taken at all account of non-vapor compression technologies? And if you have, would you please tell us whether you're going to target more the residential side of the consumption rather than the government and commercial, or are you looking at it from a sort of an overall point of view? Thank you.
You're welcome. You said none?
Well, the sort of technologies that do not rely on a compressor and electric motor, technology that would rely more on other technologies such as adsorption and absorption and evaporative, direct and indirect evaporative cooling, rather than the traditional low-lift technologies that I presume are the ones that you are targeting.
Okay, thank you very much. Very good question.
Thank you.
As you noted, my slide, I have basically uploaded 8 programs. And one of the programs is basically efficient appliances for household appliances, for machinery, where we depend heavily on the federal body because that cannot happen at the level of the Emirates. We have to ensure that it comes from the federal level where only efficient appliances will enter the country through port. If we, let's say, take forward this here in Dubai, it will not be as successful. So I think what we see here today, based on the information we got from ASMA, that things are moving, I think slowly, based on different factors. Different appliances are being introduced. There are many factors. We cannot introduce, I think, all the appliances at once, but we understand the challenges. We're happy with the progress that is coming from the Emirates standardization, and hopefully the introduction of more efficient appliances, whether for commercial, residential, whether for industries. I think this will, I think, drive the progress.
Thank you. Questions? We'll go to the left, blue shirt. That's you. Oh, we need a microphone over to the left.
Thank you. My name is Mohammed Yusuf from the Regulation and Supervision Bureau in Abu Dhabi. And I have one question, but it's 2 parts on the same subject. One is to the lady from Egypt, and the other one is for Engineer Jassim from ASMA. On the same subject of requirements for power factor on AC units. I can see from the Egypt requirements 0.95 for single phase and 0.9 for 3-phase units. The question was, how did the market react to such a requirement? And was it a challenge to meet this requirement, especially for the 3-phase one? And would that mean that you need kind of an inverter-based AC units to meet this requirement? And the second part of the question to ASMA is whether there are any measures taken to kind of follow steps or to limit this power factor requirement on AC units in UAE. Thank you.
Okay, can you start?
Mr. Muhammad Yusuf. Sorry. I think I mentioned before that I am instead of my colleague. So she is a mechanical engineer, and she is the specialist of this technical committee. So I can deliver this question to here and answer you. Okay, sorry.
Just if you can remind me with the questions regarding the studies about the factors, the power factors. Okay.
The question was whether ESMA, through ISO 5151, for example, for single-phase units, and for the 3-phase ones, is there any measures to limit this power factor within the inverter?
It is there in the study, but I think your question is more likely to be more technical, to have more technical and respond. But we do as ESMA, we do take all kind of consideration regarding the power factors, even about the efficiencies and other variables, let's say, in our regulation. Before we start any regulation, what we do is like the industry meetings. We already conducted several companies, or let's say manufacturers, and we take the feedback before we have the regulation in general. So for sure that this kind of let's say variables, parameters already be taken in consideration. You're welcome.
Go over here, yes. And the microphone needs to get over there, I think, wherever the mic, yeah. Okay, we'll take you with the microphone, and then the microphone's got to go that way.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Karthik. I'm from Laminar Air Conditioning. I have a question for Engineer Jasim from ESMA. Currently, we have a regulation from ESMA in place, and as you said, there's a new regulation coming up, which is October 2015.
Yeah.
But parallelly, we have another regulation in the UAE, which is Dubai Municipality and Estidama and also Trakis. So are we looking at a uniform regulation in UAE, or these multiple regulations are going to continue for some time?
It's very simple. As a federal government, it's all the regulations will be under the one umbrella, so the federal law.
Okay.
So this kind of regulation, when we're talking about standards, that means it's under the decree. That means it's being forced in federal level.
So this will superimpose the current DM regulations once it comes into place, is it?
Yes.
Okay. And one more question. What is the future of R22 in UAE in terms of the refrigerant?
Regarding?
What is the future of R22 refrigerant?
Okay, that's the question you're supposed to ask the manufacturers.
No, in terms of the regulation from the government, yeah.
Let's put it this way. You're supposed to ask the manufacturers. First of all, and this is the first symposium.
Okay.
Do they agreed in what kind of refrigerant we are going to go for?
Okay. But there's no regulation from the government.
For us, if we done, let's say we're considering one point of gases, then the other will suffer. So that's why you're taking the balance. As ESMA, what we do is a balance. We want, first of all, from manufacturers to see what their development, what their cooperative from their side.
Okay.
This symposium, I think nobody agreed about the specific gas to go with. Yes?
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Over here, please.
Good afternoon, and my question is for Engineer Jasim. I'm Harshal from Zamil. First of all, what is the duration of the new standard? It will be implemented in October 2015.
Yeah.
It will be valid till what, 2018, 2017?
Depends on the condition of the, let's say, of the market or the demand of the government itself. But at the end, the implementation is in 2015, in October. That's an implementation. So
as manufacturers, we would like to have some visibility, like other countries are giving 2 years, 3 years window, so that we can plan accordingly. And the second question was, does it apply to all the products, including ducted split chillers, or it's only for window and splits?
I think this is the question every time we have it, even in industry meeting regarding the window or the grace area. And once we say that is the implementation, that is the date to which the implementation of the decree, which give us, from that date, it will be a mandatory, all the products should be registered under ESMA. So maybe you're asking about the grace area. And once the decree comes with the regulation, we're supposed to have it on the same date. So that means there's no tolerances.
So I clarify, I'm not asking for the grace period. I'm saying, does this new timeline apply for the complete range, or it is only for window and split?
No, we're talking about the new regulation is the full range.
Okay.
I mentioned in the beginning that before it was the window and split are one EERs. Now the regulation has been separate them. That's one. And the second thing, we add the commercial. So in this case, now the regulation, the new regulation 2015 is going to cover the most of this, let's say, ACs.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And congratulations on asking the last question of this session. You did very well. I know there are many questions. We have our colleagues with us. We can ask during the break later that we're not going to have sooner, and ask later at other events. Walid, I think that would take care of this session with the end of the questions. Would you like to move from here, please?
Give some awards to the speakers.
Right.
I would like to thank all the speakers for the precious time and for such informative presentation. And now I would like to call Ms. Udaiba to give the monuments to the speakers. I would like to call Engineer Saud Alaskar. Mr. Faisal Ali Rashid. Engineer Jassim. Engineer Isra. And would like to thank Mr. Satu for again coming in. So you can take one more. Okay. And now we would like to thank the moderators. I would like to call Mr. James. And Dr. Waleed. Thank you so much, everyone.
Ladies and gentlemen, sorry for being the tough timekeeper, but we are running short of time and we have also other events coming up in the afternoon and the evening. I was supposed to share bad and good news with you. The bad news was already broken by Waleed regarding the coffee break. The good news is that we have a very exciting session in front of us dealing with international and regional initiatives to assess and promote future refrigerants. On a positive note, I would also like to say that the coffee break has not been cancelled, but only postponed till after the session. So I would like to call on the two moderators for the third session, Mr. Bernhard Siegele from GIZ and Mr. Marco Bueno from AREA. Please take over the floor and guide us through third session. Thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Very happy that Ole broke the bad news that we will continue without a break. And so it was not our fault. Well, we continue with session number 3, and I promise we'll be quick. But also, as Ole said, it is a quite exciting session ahead, at least from my perspective, which is going to deal with international and regional initiatives to assess future refrigerants, to assess and promote different types of refrigerants, and the title already suggests that there will not be just one, but there will be numerous. And for this we could attract 4 high-profile speakers from leading organizations worldwide in the field, and they are going to introduce